Imagine standing in a room filled with people who respect you, only to realize the one person you trusted most has made you a fool. My wife, the woman I built a life with, betrayed me with the young gym teacher at my own school. And when I found out, I didn't just sit back. I made sure they'd never forget the day they crossed me. Subscribe, hit that like button, and let's get into it. They say betrayal doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in, silent and unnoticed, like a shadow stretching across your life. By the time you see it, it's already swallowed you whole. I'm Daniel Hayes, 45 years old, the principal of a well-respected high school. My wife, Emily, was a 33-year-old physics teacher, brilliant and driven. We had spent years working side by side, shaping young minds, inspiring students. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple, an example of partnership, both in and out of the classroom. What they didn't see was the slow unraveling of everything I thought we had. It started like any other change, gradual, almost unnoticeable. Emily began dressing a little nicer for work. At first, I found it charming. She had always been beautiful, but now she was making an effort again. She started staying late, telling me she was helping struggling students. She began talking about a new colleague, a fresh face in our school. Tyler. He was the new gym teacher, young, fit, the kind of guy who carried himself with effortless confidence. Students loved him, staff respected him. He was full of energy, full of life. And, apparently, so was my wife. At first, it was nothing. Emily mentioned him casually in conversation. Tyler's great with the kids, she'd say. Or, he's bringing so much energy into the sports program. Then, I noticed something different in her tone. An admiration that wasn't just professional. A spark that hadn't been there when she talked about me. Then came the excuses. The sudden interest in fitness. The evening workouts in the school gym. The unexplained absences. The messages on her phone she quickly swiped away when I entered the room. I started watching, really watching. And what I saw made my stomach twist. There was a moment, a fleeting one, but enough to change everything. I walked into the teacher's lounge unannounced. She didn't see me at first. Neither did Tyler. She was laughing, one of those laughs you save for someone who excites you. He leaned in closer, whispering something, and she touched his arm in response. A simple touch, a fraction of a second. But it told me everything. Still, I held on. I told myself I was overthinking, that I was being paranoid, but my gut wouldn't let it go. The final blow came on a quiet Thursday afternoon. I needed something from Emily's car, our car. The trunk was unlocked. Inside, nestled between a pile of papers and an old sweater, was a gym bag. Not hers, his. I didn't ask her about it right away. I waited. I let the tension build. That night, as she walked through the door, I held up the bag and asked, "Whose is this?" She looked at me. No shock. No panic. Just a slow, knowing smile. She didn't lie. She didn't beg. She didn't even try to soften the blow. She just laughed. And in that moment, I knew. This wasn't paranoia. This wasn't insecurity. This was real. The life I had built was a lie. I just didn't know how deep it ran. Not yet. I wasn't angry. Not at first. I was numb. The type of numb that makes you question if you even existed before this moment. Days passed, and I became obsessed with knowing the full story. If she wasn't going to tell me the truth, I would find it myself. So, I started digging. I paid closer attention at work. I noticed how she and Tyler always seemed to be near each other. The way she laughed at his jokes, how they exchanged glances when they thought no one was looking. I began checking security footage. Late at night, after the school emptied, I sat in my office and watched hours of recordings. And there it was. Her sneaking into the gym after hours, always when Tyler was on duty. Then, I got confirmation in the most humiliating way possible. One of my students, a senior, pulled me aside after school. "Mr. Hayes, I don't know if I should be telling you this," she hesitated, "but I saw Mrs. Hayes and Coach Tyler together in his office. It looked bad." That was all I needed to hear. Now, it wasn't just suspicion. It was fact. And it was time for my revenge. I couldn't react emotionally. I couldn't let rage cloud my judgment. No, I needed to be smart. I had to make sure they felt the same level of humiliation and loss that I did. So I started planning. First, I gathered proof. Footage, testimonies, text messages that I managed to access from the school's server. Then, I waited for the perfect moment. Our school was about to hold its annual faculty meeting, a gathering of all teachers, administrators, and school board members. A night where the school's future was discussed, a night where every staff member would be present. And on that night, right before Emily and Tyler took their seats, I took the stage. With the projector behind me, I pulled up the evidence, photos, messages, security footage. The room fell silent. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I simply let the truth speak for itself. They had betrayed the trust of not only their spouses, but the entire school community. Emily's face drained of color. Tyler sank in his chair, eyes darting around as if looking for an escape. The staff whispered in shock, while the school board members exchanged knowing glances. By the end of the night, Tyler was fired. Emily, unable to face the shame, quit the next morning. As for me, I stood tall. I walked out of that school knowing that for once, justice had been served. Emily tried reaching out, apologizing, saying she had made a mistake, that we could work through this. I didn't even entertain the thought. She moved out of our home within a week. Rumors spread fast, and with no job and nowhere to go, she had no choice but to leave town. As for Tyler, turns out his new job offers weren't rolling in. No school wanted to hire a disgraced gym teacher who had an affair with a colleague's wife and got publicly exposed for it. And me? I thrived. I focused on my job, on my life, and on myself. And eventually, someone new entered my life. Someone real. Someone honest. Life has a way of setting things right. Sometimes, you just need to make the first move. Betrayal hurts. But revenge? When done right, it heals. Subscribe, hit that like button, and drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done?